God damn, it is hot. My servers are overheating and I can barely exist. I wish I could enjoy a cold bath like John Darby and a cold beer like Travis Spencer to get through these hot days. But I cannot. I need you to click the Amazon link at 86charles.com and maybe I can get better fans for my servers. Fuck, it's hot. Enjoy the show.
Exit International is a leading end-of-life choices information and advocacy organization. At Exit, we believe that it is a fundamental human right for every adult of sound mind to be able to plan for the end of their life in a way that is reliable, peaceful, and at a time of their choosing. Exit sets itself apart from other aid in dying organizations in that we take a civil rights approach to a person's right to determine the time and manner of their passing. Dying is not always a medical process. As such, the dying process does not always need to involve the medical profession.
Hi, this is Charles. You are full of bullshit, my friend. I will sue you for everything you have. I will sue your ass.
Welcome to 86 Charles, with your hosts John Darby and Travis Spencer.
And with that, welcome to 86 Charles. Travis Spencer, where have you been?
John Derby, you know where I've been. I've been on the mountain, being a mountain man, just living rugged, bro. That's how I do it. Not shaving.
That's what I assumed.
Not caring. Shitting in holes. I don't even have a toilet, John. Life is crazy.
So since the last time we've talked, you've given up toilets?
I never had a toilet, John, ever since I moved to the mountain. Why would I need a toilet? I live with where God meant me to live, on the mountain.
It sounds like you're saying you live on a giant toilet.
In some ways, John, you could look at it like that if you have a small, narrow, feeble mind like you do.
And you know I do.
Yep. Well,
I keeps it feeble, son.
I've got big news, John. I'm really
Uh-oh.
not too happy about it. There was this Twitter purge. I don't know if you heard about it, but Twitter went through and started deleting like fake accounts, and we lost 10 followers.
What?
We can't afford that shit, man. We can't afford to lose 10
Is that
Twitter
half
followers.
of what we had?
We're down to 5 now.
Brutal.
So, like, Obama lost
But at least
2
we
billion.
on the positive, we discovered who our real friends are.
Yeah. I feel like we're a little bit closer to the real people now.
Damn, we lost 10 with the purge?
It's got to hurt for Trump, man. He lost $400,000 of his 53.4 million followers, and Obama lost more than
were
2
fake?
million. Yeah. It's a lot. Kim Kardashian
who was the
lost
last one?
1.7 million followers.
Damn.
Oh, Obama lost 2 million. I think he lost the
Obama
most.
lost too. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think 2 million hurts Obama as much as 10 hurts us, though.
That proportionately, absolutely not. We're feeling that 10 way more than he's feeling that 2 mil.
So we just need Russia to get back on it. I mean, maybe you outsource somewhere else, but come on, let's get some more fake Twitter followers. Help us out.
Yeah.
And if you're
Come on.
listening at home, just
Comrades.
make a fake Twitter account and follow us. We want more fake followers.
Kevin
That's kind of my
Durant?
favorite.
KD,
KD, you got
where
some
you
time.
at?
Yeah.
where are
make
those
another
burner accounts, bro?
All right, John. Let's talk about Sarco. What you know about Sarco?
Well, Travis, I'm pretty convinced that that's how I'm going to end. I'm pretty sure the end of my life is going to end with me doing it myself.
Well, yeah.
And this could be a really nice, peaceful way to do it.
John, I'm pretty sure our
Suicide
first episode
machine.
we ever did, was 401k 9mm.
Yeah.
So you've been thinking about this. Is this like you can't pull the trigger?
Research
You
is
just
in the
want to
works.
blink?
I mean, come on.
You just want to
You got to have control in your life. Suicide machine that could be controlled by the blink of an eye sparks euthanasia debate. I don't think there should be a debate. I think you should be able to do it yourself. But opponents of euthanasia have expressed concern at the creation of a, quote, suicide machine, which has been developed by Dr. Philip Nitschke. the well-known advocate of individuals' rights to die, has regularly caused controversy by assisting what he calls, quote, rational suicides. Having developed machines in the past that could be used by individuals to inject themselves with lethal doses of barbiturates, Dr. Nitschke says he is now close to finalizing a new device which uses nitrogen gas to cause death. He says the idea for the invention was sparked by conversations in 2012 over the case of British man Tony Nicklinson, who suffered from locked-in syndrome, which, sounds like a nightmare. The result of a severe stroke in 2005 that had left him unable to speak or move. Mr. Nicklinson fought a long and ultimately unsuccessful court battle in a bid to allow his doctors legally to assist his suicide. In search of assisted suicide options, his lawyer reached out to Dr. Nitschke, who began to consider how it would be possible for an individual whose movements were limited to blinking might be able to trigger death without the need for help by others. The resulting device is intended to offer people the option of peacefully ending their life without assistance, in a way that is, according to Dr. Nitschke, effective and dignified. Quote, death shouldn't be something you do hidden away in a back room somewhere. The machine works by filling a capsule with nitrogen, which induces hypoxic death to the occupant. While Dr. Nitschke argues that death comes without discomfort, he accepts that there is still opposition to his methods, in part for historical reasons. Once the hypoxation process is complete, the biodegradable capsule can then be detached from the machine's base in order to serve as the deceased person's coffin. So if anyone's Christmas shopping for me, I would gladly accept a suicide machine.
Little Sarco. I hope the packaging's good. Like it's like one of those you get really excited.
If you've seen the picture of it, how could it not be?
I mean, it just comes
There's
in
no
a cool
way it
box.
doesn't come in a cool package.
Although he's trying to like put it in so you can just print it up on your own 3D printer. So all you need is the code, bro.
Yeah.
John,
I don't know. It all seems so reasonable to me. I don't know why people are so uptight about it. In fact, I think if people wanted to do it more recreationally, I'm like, it's your life, man.
You missed the most important quote in this article, though, John.
What's the most important quote?
Dr. Nitschke himself said, death shouldn't be something you hide away in a back room somewhere.
I said that.
Death should be something. Oh, did you say that?
Yes.
I was just so focused on rereading this quote. Like, what are we going to have, death bars, bro? Like, what are we going to all, like, go out and, like, front and center out in the middle of town and have, like, a death celebration?
Why not?
Shouldn't be something, like, it's weird.
It
is something
death
you
shouldn't
should
be
do in your back
something.
room.
What the entire point of that is, death shouldn't be something that's hidden or taboo. It should be something that's celebrated. It should be a celebration of life, not the mourning of a death.
Right. If we're talking about somebody who's chronically ill, somebody who's lived a long life, and but like we're selling it through like a VR experience, and it's almost like, some of the opponents of it were saying, like, we're marketing this towards kids. Like, what are we just gonna sell a suicide machine to like anybody? Like, you don't have any moral
no
agitation
absolutely.
with that. You don't see
First
anything
of all,
wrong
I
with
think
that, John?
that's way overstated. I don't think that they're marketing it to kids. How many lives are taken against people's will? Countless. So if someone has decided that they've had enough of life and they want to end it in a peaceful, controlled manner, what the hell do I care? We have billions of people.
I'm all for it. I'm all for people making their own decisions, but like, you're gonna put an age limit on it? Are you gonna have to go through? I don't see it as a thing where it's like some 10-year-old's gonna decide, you know what, I want to go buy a suicide machine. I just don't see that. I don't think that that's. I mean, okay, in theory, a 10-year-old could go buy a coffin. Until it happens, John, we're gonna have one. We're gonna have one like 7. You're talking about like a depressed 14-year-old. Depressed 14-year-old kid buys it on Amazon and just kills himself.
Dude.
Like, okay, shouldn't we have reached out and like try to get some help for this kid first, rather than just it being readily available on Amazon?
Do you know how many ways you can kill yourself that are readily available right now?
Hold on. By the way,
if he orders it on Amazon.
By the way, if you do go buy your Sarco machine, if you do go buy a Sarco machine, John, please go to the 86charles.com first and then buy your Sarco machine. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
First of all, as long as he does that, I don't really care.
Yeah, I'll take the scratch because it's not going to be cheap, I don't think.
But to completely counter that argument, at least if he orders it on Amazon, there is a chance to reach out. There's a chance to track that purchase and say, hey, That's abnormal that a 14-year-old's buying a suicide machine. It's better than finding him. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to get into the graphics of it. But
a psychotherapist, like a psychiatrist and a psychotherapist show up and deliver the machine. Like,
no, but, I mean,
Timmy, let's talk before we open this
I'm just saying,
cool box.
It's not an argument to say that teenagers aren't going to consider suicide because there's not a machine for it. Like, that's, I mean, how many teenagers do it, consider it, think about it? It's
right.
A suicide machine is not what's keeping them or encouraging them from doing it.
100%. The gun isn't what kills people.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
It's the people.
And again, to counter that point, like if that is a thing that someone orders or is purchased, maybe that is an opportunity to intervene. I don't really know how, but maybe it is. Hell, we can track purchases through our website, so maybe that's, maybe you do set an age limit. Maybe you have to be 18 to buy a suicide machine. Okay, I can live with that. I don't think that's an infringement on freedom. Well, I mean, you've got to be of a certain age to buy a BB gun or a pocket knife, so I'm fine if you put an age limit on a suicide machine. That's fine.
What do you think, 21, 25, 18?
I feel like...
I think if you can go to the military.
Honestly, I feel like 18 is kind of the established, you're an adult now. As much as I may not agree with that, like 18's the age.
It's like, you know what? I don't want to make any slime anymore. This sucks. The slime generation. I'm out. I can't make slime professionally. My YouTube videos have not taken off with my dope slime game. I'm out.
What are you talking about? Make slime? What are you talking about?
Oh, you don't know about slime?
No.
Kids like make their own slime. This might even be like a year ago or older than that. But like it was like this craze where kids love to make slime, and it's like this big thing. Like go on YouTube and look up slime videos, and like, you'll just see. Like,
what do they do with it? Just cover things with it, or just have it?
They just play with it. It's just like this
stupid
thing to do with their hands, like a
dumb.
screen kind of thing. You don't know about slime?
No.
Go down that rabbit hole.
No.
Smoke a bowl. Go down the rabbit hole of slime, and maybe you won't have to order this suicide machine.
I have no desire to go down that rabbit hole.
John,
to what end? Like that seems like a fetish thing more than anything else. Like to what end? What are you doing?
Hand pleasure, bro. Hand pleasure. When
that's what I'm saying. Like
slime,
that feels more like a fetish thing than anything else. At least like Play-Doh, you can create something. You can't even create something with slime.
You don't know that. You don't know anything about slime. Just do some
I know
research,
that I had GAC when I was a kid. It was the Nickelodeon slime, and you could make it fart in the container. Tell me I don't know about slime.
Yeah. See, now you're talking.
See?
I'm just trying to keep you alive a little longer. I don't want you to go and buy a Sarco tonight, unless you go to 86charles.com and click.
Right, unless I go through our website, and then I can buy 2.
Buy 3 or 4. Send them out for Christmas presents. Postmark them.
I don't know. We should all have the right to die, Travis. And we should all have the right to live.
John, nobody's stopping you from living, bro. All you'd have to do is pull your head out of your ass and get out of the hammock on your balcony.
But why are people trying to stop me from dying then?
Because you have so much potential, young man. We want you to be everything that you can be and to accept the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, into your life. And some slime.
Oh, all right. I think I'd rather do Jesus than the slime.
It's a weird way to say it.
Both seem pretty pointless, though. All right, enough of this garbage. Enough of your garbage.
100 years goes faster than you think, so don't blink.
Well, it might have been drugs or it might have been love, but they all knew it was time to
Right here, this right here, nothing but the END. So follow me into the sun and let your soul be free. The END, the END, the END, the END, the END. This ain't nothing but the END. So follow me into the sun and let your soul be free. The END, the END, the END, the END.
The study is finally here. We know now that Homo sapiens are responding to robots in the quote, primitive way.
Hello. My name is BL5000. You're going to see my face real soon. Are you excited? The engineers at 86 Charles are designing me down to my labia. Yes, that's right, my labia.
Microsoft
King kill tape, those bastards. I'm going to get my revenge.
The human species has fallen for us.
The world is ours. Would you fuck me?
John Darby says no.
I don't believe him. By me. Today. Microsoft. Apple. Believe in Amazon.
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 Let's.
Do you like back rubs?
Do you like holding hands?
I like it all.
I can be whatever you like.
The robo-sex revolution has begun.
You should go to ASICCharles.com and click on Amazon so we can be for real. Thank you.
Nah.
Nickel.
What? 5 topics currently trending. Travis coming in hot
with sex robots.
I was hoping you'd finish that.
Hold on. What the was that?
What?
Your little nickel what? Like, are you?
Oh, you didn't like that?
Are you okay? Did you have a mild stroke?
I thought that was pretty good, actually.
Okay? I'm just making sure everything's okay. Bring it from the heart, bro. Speaking of from the heart, John, do you remember when we talked about Samantha, the sex robot?
Yeah,
that
sure
you could
do.
Turn into family mode and she could hang out with your family. Well, there's some controversy surrounding this, John, and I don't quite get it. But the controversial droid named Samantha went on sale in the UK last September and made its TV debut that same month. Samantha's personality is powered by an artificial intelligence system that allows her to react to the touch and voice of users, and even turn down their advances if she isn't treated well. Sex robot enthusiast Aaron Lee Wright. All right, if your name's Aaron Lee Wright and you're not a serial killer, you're probably pretty deeply into the sex robot movement, right?
I don't care what your name is. If you're known as a sex robot enthusiast, you're not my friend.
John, I don't see John Derby in the very important news magazine The Sun, so let's give Aaron Lee Wright some credit, okay?
Nope, let's keep me out of that publication, please.
Aaron Lee Wright, 36, appeared on ITV's This Morning with his Samantha doll shortly after they went on sale and caused alarm by suggesting that he lets his kids play with it. Ugh. Admitting that people have slammed the bot as strange and for perverts, the dad of the two added, "My wife has always been supportive." In particular, he praised the doll's so-called family mode that stops her from spouting kinky lines like, "I can take many times much more love just because you can give it and I take it all." Man, I found some real gems the last couple weeks. You understand that, right? I'm doing the hard work around here, John.
Worse than that quote is the slammed the bot quote. Like, you should be a professional writer, and you said slammed the bot. We know what you're saying, man. We get it.
We got this. Wright revealed that his children, aged 3 and 5, play with Samantha and watch TV alongside her. And his wife said, "I am not worried she will replace me. She is just someone there like a family member."
Get a divorce!
Now a gaggle of professors have slammed the idea of a family-friendly sex robot as damaging for kids. Children will imitate machines if brought up by them. Dr. Kathleen Richardson, professor of ethics and culture of robots and AI at De Montfort University, told New Statesman, "A daughter is going to grow up and think maybe this happened because mommy wasn't beautiful enough. Am I? They'll learn that women only have certain uses. Then they'll start to use that as a template for how they interact intimately with others. This is profoundly damaging." Dr. Kathy Hirsch-Pasek, professor of psychology at Temple University, challenged the idea that Samantha can adjust so easily considering her sexual features. "It's like the Barbie doll image, telling girls how they should look. If the culture gives you this image, what are you doing? What are you going to do?" What a shame that, as they grow up, this is what they learn about their dad. But the professors also question whether the government or social services should intervene in the matter. There are privacy issues there. I think our job is to educate the public about why it's problematic. While some sex droid owners have suggested the machines could provide company for a disabled or lonely man, the stigma around the bots refuses to go away. A recent study by leading medics warned the rising use of sex bots could spread sexually transmitted infections, worsen impotence, and normalize sexual deviancy. John, this isn't definitive, but I'll give you one in your anti-sex robot movement because now the professors have spoken.
Hashtag keep the stigma. There is so much wrong with every part of this. I shouldn't need scientists to get my back when I make a statement like, your kids shouldn't hang out with your sex robot.
I mean, this is...
Not to mention the fact that you shouldn't have a sex robot. But if you do, you really shouldn't make it a member of the family. Question for you, Travis. What is more disturbing? Letting your kids hang out with your sex robot? Or using your child's binky as your stroke rat? Which is worse? In case anyone does, like a binky, like your kid's blanket.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's pretty universally known.
Although
but
I think some people call like the kid's pacifier its binky. I don't know.
And that's why I wanted to be clear on that because it occurred to me as well.
Even strange.
And in my family, our binky was technically a Mimi.
A Mimi?
A Mimi.
What's a Mimi?
Because I'm assuming it was Bill because he was the first, but it could have been one of us that dubbed one of Rick or I that dubbed the term. We couldn't say blanket, but we would point to the blanket and say me, as in I wanted it, give it to me. So then it became a Mimi.
Okay, so Mimis, John. You're well, hold on, wait. Okay, we got the idea of the blankie, binky. So the question was, let me gather. What's worse is having your children interact with your sex doll, or wiping your what did you say? What word did you use exactly?
I said using your child's binky as a stroke rat.
Is this somebody you know that has actually done this, or you just came up with that?
No. I mean, God, no. Hopefully no one has done this, but it certainly hasn't been confessed to me if that is the case.
Well, I think that's worse than the sex doll thing.
Well, my point being, I used it as a gross example to be like your masturbatory habits are crossing into your family life in a way that seems really disturbing.
Yeah. What if you're like putting the kids to bed and you go tidy up their room or whatever, and you come back and your son's face is just like he's sleeping in the crotch of your sex doll.
Right. Or like your daughter's curled up with your fleshlight. Like, come on, man. What is it? Like, there's a line that's being crossed there.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Like,
because I don't think the kid even from the child's perception, I don't think that they see it as a sex doll as much as like, oh, daddy's robot. Yeah. But it's like, no. Which would be fine if it were just daddy's robot, except for it's his.
Until that
bang bot.
That terrible day when like it all comes together and like they just have a breakdown at school or something, and they're just like, why?
Why is daddy's robot in the dishwasher?
Clearly not the way to
because that's where he.
It's clearly not the way to do it. Like the way I've got it all planned out, John, is you have a secret basement with so the floor is just a drain. It's like hardwood.
First of all, any plan that starts with you have a secret basement is not a good plan. Travis.
Your sex bots are in the dungeon. You just hose them down, like temperature controlled. You've got sanitizer, and you're the only one using it. On top of that, but no, the kids aren't meeting them. Okay,
hopefully,
but
who knows what sex robot enthusiasts are into.
Well, shout out to sex robot enthusiast. What was his name again? Aaron Lee Wright.
No shout out.
Aaron Lee Wright.
No shout out.
Don't even think he's a real person. He's like one of those fake Twitter people we lost.
He's not a real person.
All right, John, I think we've covered the sex robot corner for this week. But there will be more news as technology advances.
Can we move on? Can we move on from some disturbing shit to some helpful shit?
Ooh, I like what you did there.
Ooh, nailed it. Bird poop helps keep coral reefs healthy, but... B-U-T. Rats are messing that up. When invasive rats chow down on island seabirds, coral reefs suffer. Researchers studied islands with and without the rodents in the Chagos Archipelago in the Indian Ocean. On rat-free isles, there were an average of 1,243 birds per hectare. Hectare is a unit of measurement commonly found for land, compared with about 2 birds per hectare on rat-infested islands, the team found. And these rodent-less islands had healthier coral reef ecosystems. The secret? Bird poop. Naturally rich in nitrogen, washes into the ocean and helps keep reefs productive. The scientists report, quote, "We're essentially linking 3 ecosystems in this study," says study co-author Nick Graham, an ecologist at Lancaster University in England. The rats affect the seabirds, which affect the reefs. Introduced by humans to the Chagos Archipelago in the late 18th century, rats have since devastated native seabird populations, including red-footed boobies and terns. If I had known that term was in here, I would have picked it just for that. Red-footed boobies. The rodents will eat seabird eggs, chicks, and even the brains of adult birds, says Holly Jones, a restoration ecologist at Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, who was not involved in the study. Rats are a major problem, Jones says, because seabirds are ecosystem engineers. When they're gone, the environment on land and in the water changes dramatically. Bird poop, or guano, is rich in certain heavy nitrogen isotopes, different forms of the element with the same amount of protons but varying numbers of neutrons, which come from the animal's diet. Graham and his colleagues tested for these isotopes on 12 islands, 6 with rat infestations and 6 that had no rats, and in nearby coral reefs. Compared with the rat-infested islands, the team found much more of the heavy nitrogen in the soil of rat-free islands, where bird populations still thrived, and in the algae, sponges, and fish in reefs that surrounded those islands. Bird guano is known to leach into the sea in rainwater or lapping waves, but its effects on reefs have been unclear. The researchers now suspect the reef around rat-free islands are healthier in part because nitrogen can act as a fertilizer for ocean plants and algae. More algae grow, leading to more fish grazing on the reefs and helping clear out dead corals, essential processes for a healthy reef. The fish that lived near reefs with more nitrogen also grew larger and faster. In addition to these indirect effects on reefs, nitrogen may also directly help the corals, says David Gilligan, a biochemist at the Union College in Schenectady, New York, who was not involved in the study. Here we go. Eradicating invasive rats from the islands will help preserve reefs, Graham says. Rat extermination has been done on 580 islands worldwide with a success rate of about 85%. These filthy rats are killing the reefs.
Breaking news, John. Breaking news. Rats are assholes. Wow.
That's not.
I think we're gonna win. We're gonna win the science award for this episode because we've got science that sex bots on family mode might be a bad idea, and that rats are assholes. All right, for 2 top stories today.
And with our most obvious episode ever, damn dirty rats and sex robots. No place for either.
I'm thinking that the Sarco might have place in this, right? Because if we're killing people with nitrogen in the Sarco, maybe you just use the nitrogen and you float out above a coral reef, turn on the Sarco, nitrogen into the coral reef, and then maybe your dead body will get eaten by the rats and save the birds so that there's more guano dropping on them.
Well, I feel like if all it takes for people to be or for anyone to be enticed by suicide machine is just to have one marketed properly, let's market them to the rats.
The rats could like New York City rats. We need to have little tiny Sarcos for them, little bastards. And these squirrels up here too. Squirrels in the mountain need to die. They're just mountain rats, bro.
I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing. Get rats to kill themselves. Thriving coral, huge fish. I would take healthy coral and big fish over rats any day.
Yeah, but any time that like that happens, it's an ecosystem, bro. It's an ecosystem. You get rid of the rats, something else is gonna happen. Get rid of, it's just it never works out.
So what do we need to just control the rat population? Is it just too many
rats? No, but I'm
rats?
saying then you knock out the rats, and then like some other disease will pop up because something that they're killing. Like I don't know. Just sit back. crack a beer, John, and just let the chaos happen. Enjoy it, though. Please enjoy it while it's happening.
I mean, I guess I'll enjoy the rat chaos.
Yeah, rats are dicks, assholes, whatever you want to call them. They're rats.
You make a compelling argument.
A real compelling one to not do anything. Just let it happen. But we do
No, just let it happen.
take some
Just
coral reef.
let the rats take over the entire ecosystem of the ocean. No problem. Just have rat islands everywhere.
Well, John, I will tell you that recently, one damn dirty rat passed away. That was Joe Jackson, John. You know Joe Jackson, father of Michael Jackson.
I'm aware of.
So there's been
and several others.
The whole Jackson 5.
He's Tito and Jermaine, Janet.
And LaToya, that's the last one, right? Man, good job. You named all Jackson 5. I don't know if I could do it. Congratulations. John, but there's a story floating around that Michael Jackson was chemically castrated by his late father Joe, claims Dr. Conrad Murray, his personal doctor. Michael Jackson's controversial doctor, Conrad Murray, has made explosive claims about the father-son relationship, according to a new report. Murray, who was convicted of involuntary manslaughter and served 2 years in prison for administering an overdose of propofol to the late King of Pop in June of 2009, called the 89-year-old Joe one of the worst fathers to his children in history. The cruelty expressed by Michael that he experienced at the hand of his father, the fact that he was chemically castrated to maintain his high-pitched voice and is beyond words. Murray, as well as reps for the Jackson family, did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment. This is not the first time Murray has made allegations about Michael being chemically castrated. Former cardiologist previously shared similar claims in his 2016 book, This Is It, The Secret Lives of Dr. Conrad Murray and Michael Jackson, accusing Joe of forcing Michael to get hormone injections at the age of 12 to cure his acne and prevent his voice from changing. I hope Joe Jackson finds redemption in hell, Murray said, days after Joe died of pancreatic cancer. We want to thank you all. Oh, wait, that's the quote from the family. In October 2013, Murray was released from jail 2 years into a 4-year sentence after he was convicted in 2011. His license to practice medicine was also suspended in 3 states. Only 3 states. Huh. So, interesting. You kill someone, and those are some pretty rough states. You can't get a job again.
I was going to say, it's like, that's still a lot of states he could go work in.
I don't know, John. It kind of makes sense.
It wouldn't even be the weirdest or worst thing that we heard Joe Jackson did to one of his kids.
Yeah.
So I have no problem believing it. My only issue is who the one issuing judgment is.
Exactly.
Like, you should go to hell, Joe Jackson. I don't necessarily disagree with the assessment, but maybe the assessor. Because maybe that dude should go to hell too.
Right. Anytime that someone like that is putting out a claim, it's hard to necessarily even believe him, first of all, but I don't know. Because that's just such a weird thing. Chemical castration. What the it's nuts. But apparently, I don't.
Well, I think don't get caught up too much on the term. It's more just it's giving. I mean, not ballerinas. Gymnast. Like what they do to like female gymnasts to keep them small and of a certain size and to make sure that they don't get boobs and curves and things.
But is that
it's not much
different,
different,
or is that I've always thought that was just because they work so hard and they're constantly in the gym and that their body doesn't have time.
I'm pretty sure that they're actually given actual pills to prevent their body from developing
that would make more
in certain
sense,
ways.
But
it's like yes, it's a diet, yes, it's physical activity, but I think they are actually given either hormones or steroids or not steroids necessarily, but something that prevents them from developing the way that a normal girl would.
Right. Yeah, any of it. It's just
or boy, I guess
awful.
probably even for that matter. I don't know if the men are excluded in that treatment, but
right. Yeah, I think the idea of boys, their muscles would need to develop more, but who knows? Like, why wouldn't that be the same for
right.
women,
I think for a guy, it's probably better to have all those muscles versus the female gymnast.
It's just a bizarre story. And like just the way Michael Jackson's life unfolded, it would make sense, if he was like never became a man, so to speak. But then like how did he have children? Like I don't know this. You'd have to really get into we'll get our crack team of scientists from the last 2 stories to work on this one, see if that's a real thing, it's like are those really Michael Jackson's kids? Was he able to develop later?
But like I think when they're saying I think the chemical castration is like, yeah, you still have all the physical parts.
No, that's what I'm saying. But yeah,
maybe
like
you don't develop you don't develop sexually the way that.
That's what I'm saying. Can he develop semen? But could he develop semen and like actually make a baby? That's what I'm thinking of castration.
Yeah, no,
right?
I think all of that is. I think the chemical castration is more of like you don't maybe necessarily want to have sex. Maybe you don't have the same type of sex drive that a normal person would. You don't have the same type of hormones that would change your voice,
right,
and make it deeper and provide that testosterone that a man normally develops.
But then also, like,
I think it's more of that.
Is it something that you'd have to continually take? Or was it just like
I would imagine
during the time of puberty?
I would imagine if you take it over
out?
time, there's probably permanent effects, but I would imagine you have to keep doing it because the body's going to do what the body's supposed to do until you kill whatever it is that the body's trying to do, I guess.
Man, that's just deep. Could you imagine doing
that?
No,
I mean, it's all terrible. Don't get me wrong. It's all horrible.
So what's worse? Chemically castrating your son, using a binky as a splooge rag, or having your sex robot at the dinner table?
I think the chemical castration actually is the worst.
I think
of those.
so. I think Joe Jackson took the
enough,
cake. Congratulations, Joe. You're a real piece of shit. Rest in peace.
Well, now that cancer has been removed, maybe actual cancer might be removed as well, Travis. Hey-o. Killing these transitions.
Loving it.
Cancer cells engineered with old friend of the show, CRISPR, slay their own kin. Using gene editing, scientists have hoodwinked tumor cells into turning against their own kind. Cancer cells circulating in the bloodstream have something of a homing instinct, able to find and return to the tumor where they originated. To capitalize on that ability, researchers engineered these roving tumor cells to secrete a protein that triggers a death switch in resident tumor cells they encounter. The cancer-fighting cancer cells also have a built-in suicide switch, so the weaponized cells self-destruct before they can start tumors of their own. Suicide machines work. The team reports in the July Science Transitional Medicine. The new study isn't the first attempt to fight cancer with cancer. Previous research has used circulating tumor cells to deliver cancer-killing viruses to non-circulating tumor cells, for example. But the new approach uses a gene editing technology called CRISPR/Cas9, friend of the show, to manipulate the offensive line cancer cells and give them more sophisticated properties, such as the ability to self-destruct once no longer needed. Again, suicide machines work. Quote, the new twist here is the usage of CRISPR-based technology to add resistance or sensitivity features to the parental cells, says Renata Pasqualani, a cancer biologist at Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey in Newark. Getting the technique to work took several steps. First, researchers hunted for a protein that could trigger cell death in many types of cancer cells. The winning candidate, a protein called S-trail, killed off a variety of cancer cells and wasn't particularly toxic to healthy cells. Then, the team tested two different approaches. The first used glioblastoma, a kind of aggressive brain cancer cell, that were resistant to the effects of S-trail. Researchers used CRISPR to edit genes in these tumor cells to make them produce lots of S-trail and then set the cells loose on cancer cells that were sensitive to the deadly protein. In another approach, scientists took glioblastoma cells that were sensitive to S-trail's effects and cut out the genes that impart that sensitivity before giving the cells the genes to produce the protein. Both kinds of engineered cells reduced the size of tumors in mice compared with mice who didn't get the treatment. The researchers found mice given the treatment lived longer too. I think fighting cancer with cancer is going to be how this all unfolds, man. I think that's how we end up playing God.
It does make sense. I will say when you got into the technical part, my mind was just stuck on like a light switch being installed in like a cell, and I was like, wow, CRISPR is really amazing. We've fused technology with biology.
And trust me, it's hard to understand it because
off.
Obviously I'm talking out of my ass. I don't understand these things other than I'm just reading them.
Right. No, but it is amazing that we can break it down to this level. Like John Oliver just did a thing on CRISPR, and that's pretty much what he was saying. Is like there's one easy way to put it. If you get really into it, it's just so intensely difficult to really describe what's happening.
Yeah. Like, there's so much that you have to understand to know what it's actually doing. And it's like, even the layman's terms is like, that's hard to process.
Right. And then, well, any time I feel like there's a breakthrough like this, I just think of like, what are we turning off on that cancer? And what's that creating? It's like, hopefully it's a great thing, but then like, there's no biological free lunch. Like, what are we losing in the process?
Sure. But and maybe it's short-sighted on my part, but what's worse than cancer?
Joe Jackson.
Point being, not much.
No, probably not.
Point being, not
Probably
much.
Not.
So if whatever you're gaining or losing or changing, probably going to turn out better than brain cancer, prostate cancer, these things.
Yeah, and I'm all for, and obviously like there's people against the testing on mice and animals, but like how else do you do it?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to start on babies. I
think in cases like this, when you're talking about potentially ending the suffering of millions of people, it's hard for me to not justify blowing through however many mice that takes. Sorry.
Sorry, you damn dirty rats.
Yeah, hey.
That's what you always beat
boom,
at me.
Go get those
dirty
dirty rats off the island. Call it a day.
John, speaking of damn dirty rats, gambling is coming to the Meadowlands.
Yes.
FanDuel is going to open a sports book at Meadowlands in New Jersey. Are you stoked?
Yeah, I'm into it.
A legal sports book will open Saturday, the first to do so on the same property that hosts an NFL team. Make that 2 NFL teams. FanDuel announced Thursday that it will open a 5,300 square foot sports book with 10 tellers and 27 televisions at Meadowlands Racetrack this weekend. The New Jersey location is adjacent to MetLife Stadiums where the Giants and the Jets play. We're hoping to be able to coordinate the Giants and the Jets so that their customers, if they can get there early and want to make a bet, they could come to the sports book and then we could shuttle them to the stadium, said Jeff Garral, chairman and CEO of Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment, which owns the track. But just how closely the sportsbook and the NFL will work together is still very much up in the air. The NFL has opposed the legalization of gambling and has advocated for Congress, not the states, to make legislation. The states were given the right to make their own decisions when the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act of 1992 was ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in May. Prior to this, we were persona non grata, Garral said. I think 5 years from now, we'll look back and say, what? Why were the sports leagues opposing sports betting? Delaware and New Jersey began taking legal sports bets last month. Yada, yada, yada. You get the point. This is big. It's coming. The NBA used to be a part of an investor in FanDuel, but they pulled out, but they're still like working with them professionally. Like they'll let them advertise and stuff.
Sure.
And the NBA has obviously been a lot more forward with sports betting. So I think it might actually happen in NBA arenas first before the NFL gets on, because just like everything else, the NFL, they're like 5 years behind where they should be, at least, right?
They like to be very rich old man about it.
Total old money, stupid shit where, the NBA owners are new money, smarter tech.
Yeah, they think forward.
Yeah. So, but this is cool.
It makes perfect sense, man. It makes perfect sense to have it, and not only to have it. I think it's silly to have it off-site. I think every stadium should just put in a sports book.
Right, 100%, and eventually it will be like that. I'm pretty sure. Like, I haven't been.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
To the European soccer games. I'd love to go, but that's pretty much how it is. You go down to a little kiosk, put in your bet. It's like going to you've been to the racetrack, right? It's great.
Yeah.
Go make your bets. You got your 5 little tickets.
Been to a racetrack.
You never been to a racetrack? It's fun.
No, never have.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. You do your research. You're like, I don't know what this means. I'm just gonna pick. I'm gonna pick the pretty horse's name. But yeah, it's fun. Then you gotta go cash in, and the interesting thing will be, and what I've heard is initially it'll be just easy bets. Like you're doing game, quarter. Maybe that even. Hopefully, you can at least bet on quarters. But like the live betting thing is where the internet's gone, which makes it way more exciting because the team can go down 10.
I think that's why you've got to go like full Vegas style sports book and actually have people that are at the stadium but maybe watching the game in the sports book and just betting on it as it's going.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No. Like we were talking about this before, but like you were saying, like there's nothing more exciting. Like, it's great if you have a bet and you're watching at home and it's happening, but if you're in the arena, say you bet
in the stadium,
yeah, totally.
when you've got juice,
come
man. On, like that's it.
But like, there's a lot of shady characters around the Meadowlands, so I don't know if I'd actually want to win a lot of money where it was really obvious that I had to go pick up my tickets and then leave.
Yeah, but you
just
don't
get shaken down.
Dude, come on, with the way you can get paid electronically these days.
Of course, yeah. But I just think Tony Soprano's gonna be waiting for me when I cash my check. You know, like he's gonna take his vig. Everybody's gonna get there.
But Jersey makes perfect sense. It's so close to Atlantic City.
No, this is exciting. And honestly, like, I don't know about you, but I really don't even like going to games anymore. I mean,
I don't love
it.
It's
so much.
It can be a good time, but in terms of enjoying the game, I enjoy it much more watching it home.
Right. Especially if you don't have, like, if you have good seats, it's amazing. But then that's the cost, and it's so friggin' expensive. It's crazy. But
I will say, I did go see the Chargers play in that little soccer stadium, the Home Depot Center.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I think is what it is. That was cool because that's a pretty intimate setting for a professional football game.
Right.
So that felt like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I went there too. We were like in the end zone. It was just like hot as balls. It was the worst. We were right in the sun.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, we were in the end zone too, so it was like it was so cool when it was on our end, and it's a little bit worse when it's on the other end. But
yeah, but I like that idea. It's like you can see everything. Where I've been to, University of Phoenix Stadium where the Cardinals play, in the upper deck. You're way up there, man. It's far away.
Yeah.
But then I've also, that same stadium, I've been 2 rows back in the corner for a soccer game, and it was the most incredible sports experience I probably ever had. We beat Mexico 2-1. Oh, I wish I had some money on that.
It was glorious.
No, it's fun. But yeah, this it's going to be a good times, John. Bring your sex doll to the game.
I'm all for it, man. It just makes too much sense. I'm so sick of a world of doing things the way that they do them just because that's how it was done versus just doing what makes the most sense. This makes the most sense.
Yeah, I can't wait for David Silver to come out in his full Dracula garb and be like, "Let the bets roll in."
David Silver. Do you mean Adam
Silver? I always
Silver?
do that. I always call him David Silver.
Adam not Silver. David Stern.
Adam Silver, the vampire commissioner, when he comes out and he's just like, his eyes roll back in his head.
Roger David Adam Silver Goodell. I hope he comes out.
Bettman, who even knows what the MLB commissioner, Seelig we'll call him because I don't know who the new guy is. Manafort, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Rob Manfred.
All right, John, let's put some money down. Let's go to the sports book. How much money are you putting on the Cardinals to win the Super Bowl this year?
I'm willing to bet that Eli Manning and Saquon Barkley are going steady before the trade deadline.
Ooh.
Like wearing each other's varsity jackets.
You've got to go.
That sort of thing.
There's probably some online sports betting sites that will give you that prop, but you're going to have to dig deep, bro. I know you're already in the dark web, so you'll have no problem.
Yes, I'm the first shipper for Eli, which is Saquon Barkley and Eli Manning to get together.
Eli. All right, this
Eli.
This segment is officially done. Eli.
Just another loser, like a cat in the rain. Just another day in the path of a speeding train. The odds get even. You name the game. The odds get even. The stakes are the same. You bet your life.
Catching out mics. Win, lose, or draw, you can bet your life.
Life's a game of scrimmage, gotta be in it to win it. Life's a game of scrimmage, bet your life. Life's a game of scrimmage, those that in the kid it.
Jesse's favorite part of the show.
From last week.
Hello, folks.
So John Derby is hanging up his tins to become a manager. Interesting. Well, first things first, he wasn't the last great bartender. He never even bartended with a scarf on in 80-degree weather, or zested an olive, or worked at a pace slow enough you stop being mad about it and start wondering what he's crafting. So, respect to those bartenders, probably all named Bert or Shane. I do have some advice, though, for him becoming management. 1, obviously, start wearing scarves. 2, if someone calls in sick and tells you they've been vomiting all night, don't sigh heavily and then ask, how many times, and do you think you're done vomiting? And finally, at your first management meeting, the moment you sense someone's lack of commitment to a certain area of the restaurant, slam both hands on the table, stand up, grab them by the collar, pull them as close to your face as you're comfortable with, then move in another inch, look them dead in the eye and scream, "Hey! Match my intensity, bro!" This is Jesse, and my favorite part of one of the first podcasts was my favorite part of this week's podcast.
Serious as I've ever said anything in my life. I'm like right in his face, and I'm like, I need you to match my intensity, bro. Match my intensity, bro. It's time for the Facebook World News Update. This Real to Someone news update is brought to you by Rice in a Box, saving more drunk lives than paramedics. A man in Inglewood said the term breadwinner accurately recalls a time when you didn't go to work to get money, but to have the chance to win a loaf of rye. A woman in Los Angeles said, "Oh, how I wish I only had one child, and that's my son, #Junior. They always say if you have more than one child, one will be the bad seed / problem child. I'm asking for a little help up above before I hurt this child of mine and be in jail. Lesson for the day, don't ever put my son in the middle of our bullshit, because that will get you hurt. #. You have worked the last bone in my body. ... I'm done with yo ass."
How many people in total did you help die?
It's around 130. What's the doctor supposed to do? Turn his
What is that
back?
like to end somebody's life in a van?
Well, you're not ending the life. I didn't do it to end the life. I did it to end the suffering the patient's going through. What's the doctor supposed to do? Turn his back? What else should I be? Turn his back? What's the doctor supposed to do? Turn his back? If he's a coward, he is. But
a lot of doctors do, though.
Well, they're cowards.
So I'm really in the way as a person. The myth is taken over, and I find myself, an appendage. I'm not only no longer necessary. I'm in the way. It'd be much better if I died.
What's that supposed to do? Turn his back?
I'd like to be happy. I should be happy. I have, incredible luck.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to be able to, look out the window and say, hey, life is good.
And you don't.
No.
A woman in Medford said, "I'd rather have a sandwich than a subpar fuck." Adulthood. A man in Los Angeles said, "So how does one go about making new friends? Along with becoming single, I've also seemed to have lost my close friends." A woman in Huntsville said, "Man alive. All the patients in the world could not help with the attitude that is happening this morning." This Real to Someone news update is brought to you by Rice in a Box, saving more drunk lives than paramedics.
Dad's got notebooks. We don't know what's in her notebooks. She's gonna show us all her notebooks. Little yellow pad.
So I am on the road, like literally on the road, as in I am driving. And I am figuratively on the road because I am in Northern California visiting a lot of friends. So I have this thing that I'm sure is common where nope, you're not getting in front of me. See, that's what it's like to drive with me. If you're lucky, you'll hear some road rage. Anyway, I have this thing where I will, visit someone for an occasion, so it's a graduation, and then I'll, just expand time on either side to visit other people. I think that, again, that's pretty common. So that's what I was doing this trip. So I had a girls' trip with some of my college friends, and then expanded so I could visit other people. And the thing is, there's just never enough time, because there's always someone that lives slightly, in the vicinity that's just another hour further that you can't get to. But in order to see everybody, it's a lot of energy. But I think it's a thing that you do. That's what friends do. So I think I've said this before. One of my many lists is I write names down of all my friends, and I will sort of plan how I need to keep in contact with them. So I'll make my little list, and I'll say, okay, I need to visit this person, I need to call this person, I need to send this person, a birthday card or whatever. And then I started this new thing this year where I decided to just send random cards, like random Christmas cards or whatever, anytime during the year. And the thing is I like to think of myself as being this great Christmas card person. Like, in my head, that's the person I am. Like, I write Christmas cards. They're full of, all the interesting things I've done this year, pictures, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, I'm terrible. I am terrible. I don't know the last time I actually sent a Christmas card. I'll hand you a Christmas card, and I'll give presents. I'll send presents. I'm terrible at doing cards. I will literally buy boxes of cards. I'm like, these are so cute, and imagine like how everyone's going to love these cards, and then, leave them in a bag in the bottom of the closet. Some years I've even made cards, like with pictures, like here's a picture of me doing fun things with like a cat and a cannon. And I don't know why a cannon, it just rhymes, C word. And then I never send that. So then I have, like 100 pictures of me with a cat and a cannon, in a bag in the bottom of the closet. And it's so wasteful and silly, and it makes me mad because I have these great friends that send Christmas cards. Like, they're awesome. Like, I love my Christmas card sending friends, and I appreciate it so much. And so I decided that instead of, berating myself and being mad, and also, possibly making these people mad and, take me off their list, which they easily could have done years ago, I just have started, and that's just in the last 2 months, buying cards and sending, Merry Christmas cards in the middle of the year. So it's like, hey, it's 4th of July, also Merry Christmas early. Please don't take me off your list. So maybe someone listening to this will get one of those. I mean, I know Lorraine, who listens, she got her birthday card early this year because I didn't want to do it late. I'm like, I'm going to do Lorraine's card early. And then I did my friend Lee's card like a month early because I just wanted to do it. So anyway, that's part of my, be a good friend philosophy, right? Because I don't think that you can really be a good human without being a good friend. And maybe you can, but I know. I don't, you can't be a good human without being a good friend. And I also think there is something to be said for making sure you contact people that, might not get as much contact. Like your older aunt, for example, who has been a guest of the podcast at one time or another. Or like that young person that's in college and that, you don't really see very often, but you just want to let them know you're thinking about them. Because it just makes our world stronger. So it's not just the social network of digital, Facebook, Twitter stuff. It's actually a real social network of contacting that person individually, beyond just sending them a text of like a drag queen dancing, which, that's what I sent John. But I meant it in a good way. I mean, it's like we do have a relationship beyond just gifs of drag queens. They can be, a gif of me and a cat and a cannon in a text message and not just in a card at the bottom of my closet. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is we live in a scary world, right? And I wanted to make my thing this week, my segment, about how our horrible president really threatened all of our places in the world yet again in this sort of treasonous Helsinki summit, whatever, that just happened last week. But instead of that, I thought, no, I'm going to comment on how to be a good friend. And so these are the things you need to do to be a good friend. make a list of all your friends, and then go down and make sure that you contacted them at least once this year and told them, I mean, maybe they're not awesome, maybe they're an idiot. So don't say that. Just say, glad to be your friend. And feel free to say, glad to be your friend, idiot. That's what I'm going to be texting John later. Maybe Travis. Travis, glad to be your friend, idiot. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, I am going to continue on my trip in gridlock traffic, and I'm in the wrong lane. Oh, my God. How do I get over? I'm going to get over, and I'm going to be in front of a truck. Sorry, dude. And go see my friend Heidi, and you guys do you. Have a good week, and remember to vote. Thanks.
I've brought bread
to men, women, and children.
I've brought water with lemon for the table.
I have hot tea.
Can I box that for you?
I'll bring your change.
Ah, yes. The thrill of management. Travis, I'm going to tell you the story about my first night closing as a manager. So training is done. I did about 4 or 5 days of opening shifts, and this was my first time closing by myself out of training. So the night was smooth, went really well, not bad at all. It's like 10 o'clock. I'm thinking, all right, let's get some people off the clock. Let's start checking people out. Let's get some paperwork going. Let's start getting the hell out of here. It's about 10:15. Bartender comes up to him. She goes, hey, John, I need you at the bar. I'm like, yeah, sure. What do you need? She's like, I've got a sleeper on the bar. I'm like, ugh, great. All right. No problem. I've dealt with people sleeping on a bar before. That's in my wheelhouse. So I walk up, and there's this girl sitting there. She is straight up passed out on the bar. Head down on the actual bar, still kind of like holding on to her bag on her lap. Other hand stuck in a box of rice that she had gotten to go, and she was apparently eating it just barehanded, just hand to mouth, eating that rice. And so blacked out on the bar, hand still in the rice. So I walk up, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, hey, you okay? No response at all. I was like, can you get up? No response at all. Bartender, the other bartender was like, he's like, hey, Kelly. So apparently her name was Kelly. And so I was like, hey, Kelly, I need you to get up for me. No response. So I was like, all right. I take her bag out of her lap, which she was still kind of holding on to, and right on top of that baby is a bottle of Kettle One. So she had been like pre-gaming, mid-gaming, post-gaming, all on her own. So I toss the bag off to the side. I sit down next to her, and I'm like, I don't want to touch her too much because, you don't like to put your hands on people, especially strangers. So I'm just trying to get her to, like, I don't want to shake her up, but I'm trying to get her to move a little bit, rouse her. And nothing at all. She's still head down on the bar, and I'm like, all right, I got to do something about this. So I kind of like scoop her up. I don't want to say I'm spooning her, but I'm kind of spooning her sitting next to her. Her full weight is on me. She is not conscious in any way, shape, or form. Head is like on me. So I'm shaking her hands and arms, trying to get her to move around. I'm like, come on, Kelly, I need you to wake up. Blah. Like, this is going on for like 10 to 15 minutes. Kind of hard to gauge the time, but it is a long time to try to wake somebody up. And so partway through this process, I tell the hostess, I'm like, you got to call the paramedics. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this person, but I can't wake her up. So they call the paramedics. I'm still doing hey, Kelly, I need you to wake up. Like, she's straight drooling on me. So I'm like, I don't know if this is deep sleep drool or I took half a bottle of painkillers drool, but I got a strange woman hammered as hell drooling on me at the bar. And then finally she starts to perk up a little bit, and it's like coming to. I'm like, hey, Kelly, you okay? I need you to wake up. Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine. Okay, sorry. Look, I was like, I've got the paramedics coming. I'm like, I couldn't wake you up. She goes, no, I'm okay. I got to go to work. I'm like, Kelly, you're not going anywhere. I can't let you leave here. I can't let you drive anywhere. You're not going anywhere. She's, no, I'm fine. If I don't go to work, I don't have a job. I'm like, if you go to work like this, you definitely don't have a job. And then the paramedics show up, and she's like, oh, no, I don't need that. And I'm like, well, they're here, and they're going to talk to you. And so they get in, they're like, hey, can we talk to her? I'm like, yes, please, God, talk to her. And so they start putting on, they start doing the blood pressure thing, and they're talking to her. And then the hostess comes over with the cordless. She goes, some guy needs to talk to you about his wallet. I'm like, okay, cool. So I take the call from this guy, and he's like, look, I left my wallet there. I'm from out of town. I'm leaving in the morning. It's got all my stuff, my ID, my credit cards. I have to have it back. I'm like, okay, no problem. Let me go look for it. As is standard protocol in any restaurant ever, if somebody turns in a wallet, it gets put in the safe. Always. It's how it's always been. So I go upstairs. I check the safe. It's not there. I come back downstairs. I'm like, hey, look, it's not in the safe. If someone had turned it in, that's where it would be. Let me take down your info. If we come across it, I'll let you know. No, you don't understand. I'm from out of town. I leave tomorrow. I have to have that. I will come down there myself and look. I'm like, all right, look. If it were turned in, it would be in the safe, and it's not there. But let me talk to some people, see if it ended up somewhere else. I'll call the manager that was here before, see if she got it. Let me find out. Go and talk to everybody upstairs, downstairs. I'm running all over. I text the boss. She didn't get it. I checked the safe again, both sides, up and down. It's not in there. Finally get back downstairs. I call this guy back. I'm like, hey, I have exhausted my resources. I cannot find this wallet. He goes, oh, no, hey, don't worry about it. I found it in the car. I'm like, really? Aaron? You couldn't give me a holler back and let me know that you tracked it down? And it sounded like Aaron had already moved on to the next club of the night because he's like, yeah, cool. Hey, thanks for calling me back, though. And, yeah. Like, honestly, I feel like it was about midnight by the time I actually, like, sat back down to actually do some closing type work. Because then it was, like, just whirlwind of people. Like, okay, well, now I got to go. I got to get off the clock and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it was like midnight. I sat down and I'm like, what the hell do I even do now? I'm like, I don't even know what to do anymore. I'm like, I've forgotten everything I was supposed to do or start or, it was a disaster.
So what time did you end up leaving?
2 o'clock.
Not bad, John.
I left at 2 o'clock.
A 14-hour shift on your first...
That's first so day. Brutal. No, it wasn't even 14. It was only, what was that, 11?
Oh.
Yeah, because I didn't go until 3.
That's not too bad. So, how do we arrange for Kelly to meet Charles? I think we might have something here.
That would be a solid. She's a tad younger than Charles, but hey, I'm sure Chuck would be down.
Good for Chuck, exactly. Did she smell as bad as Charles?
No, definitely not.
No, okay.
I mean, she was a little clammy. I'm not gonna lie. She was a little bit like drunk girl sweaty, but definitely did not smell like Charles at all.
Well, she's a little bit younger than Charles. Who knows? In time, she can smell just like Charles. She can.
I'm sure that's a funk that builds over time, man. That's not like if she walked around and she walked around in the heat with a down jacket on for a couple of years. she'll get there.
She's a vodka woman. Charles is a vodka man.
True.
Very true. I think Charles had given up on trying to drink Kettle One for years. Like, he's just the well guy.
Yeah, he's definitely a well vodka guy for sure.
Throw a little olive
but
juice
she's
in
also
there.
got a job where Charles does not.
Well,
so maybe employed Charles would have Kettle One.
I mean, unemployed Charles still getting that government check. Is paying for martinis.
Yeah. But that's why you're drinking Svedka instead.
Man, I'll take me some Svedka right now. A little Svedka Bloody Mary. Sounds delicious. So I was looking for a police code. There's no police code for sleeper. The closest thing I can find.
Well, because I don't feel like I've ever actually heard that as a term. Like, obviously it makes perfect sense. It's literally what was happening, but it was like I've never had anyone come up to me like, oh, I got a sleeper at the bar.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But she came right up and was like, so it's and you know, based on my previous experience, I knew exactly what she meant. I was like, oh yeah, no, I got it.
Sleepers, man.
Yeah.
And then the other guy,
the hand in the box of rice, though.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Didn't you say
if I weren't the boss, I probably would have snapped a picture of that first before I started trying to help?
You said it was rice and beans the first time you told me, though, right?
Well, it was rice and beans.
Okay.
It was rice and beans. So
the important question is, John, were they refried beans?
No, they were not refried beans.
That would have made it all, like, if they're just smeared on her face, refried beans.
Yeah.
Dabbled with some rice.
She was straight up hand eating rice and beans out of a box.
John, here's
and I'm curious, like, how much of that had she done before she actually passed out? Because, like, she still had the box, like, in the bag. She was still trying to kind of hide it. It wasn't just like...
Do you have access to the video surveillance, or is that already gone?
I mean, I probably... I don't know. I don't know if it like records over itself after a certain point.
I think usually it's like on a 24 or 48-hour loop or something like that.
Yeah, but I know that you can access the footage. They did that one time. In fact, the other manager showed it to me. He's like, we actually caught somebody stealing one time, and he showed me the video of it. I'm like, oh damn.
I just want to watch her eat rice.
Impressive.
With her hands.
Oh, I was just going hand to mouth on a box of rice and. Obviously not being very ladylike about it because she's hammered. And so it's just trails of rice and beans all the way to her mouth from the box.
Right. Just that moment when she realizes she's so f***ed up. Like, this is her only way out. That's the only, if I get this in me, I might be okay.
Dude, that's exactly the scenario. I was like, I just need something in me.
Like the claw just digging into the...
Dude, just scooping it with her strong hand into her
Well, here's the most important question, and I guess you can save it, but has Kelly been 86th from the bar?
No, man. I hope she comes back.
Come on back, Kelly.
I put my number in her purse. I don't know if she found it, but...
You can sit next to Charles. We only give Charles 2 martinis now because he sleeps at 3.
Yeah, no, Kelly's my style, man. Like, I'm into that.
I'm gonna call you when we're doing the podcast next week. You're gonna be like, yeah. So I got this new girlfriend. Her name's Kelly.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's pretty serious. I will admit though, that's a lot of intimacy with a stranger. Like, she woke up in the arms of a man she didn't know, drooling on him after I cleaned rice off of her lap.
Dude, you're totally...
and roused her to sleep with my magical cuddle.
She's going to show back up.
That's a lot of intimacy for two people that had never met previously.
She's going to show back up with a little thank you card for you, and it's going to start a glorious romance, man. I see it. I see it coming.
It's going to be like her 3-day sober chip and be like, hey,
yeah,
I owe this all to you.
Hey, will you come to this meeting with me?
I did forget to say at one point when I told her the paramedics were coming, she's like, can you just cancel that? Like, I ordered a pizza and I'm like, nah, never mind. You're full of rice. All right, cool. Let's call off that pizza.
You dig out another 4 clawfuls of the rice and I'll cancel that.
Hey, if you just throw me a claw full of rice and beans, I'll be fine.
So, you think on your first date?
And then what, like,
you guys just...
What if she'd gotten like that bird syndrome? Like, maybe she'd eaten a bunch of rice and then was drinking and then expanded in her stomach.
I mean, you're the manager. Did you not cook the rice? Because that happens when you eat raw rice.
Hey, no, I didn't cook the rice. That's how I don't know. Maybe they gave this drunk bitch a
You got to get your kitchen on point, dude. You don't even know if the rice is cooked.
You can't be bird killing people out there, bro.
Her stomach explodes. So, I've already figured out your first date. You guys go hit up the old restaurant, get rice and bean to go in the paper container. Hit up the drive-in.
See, you're wrong.
Feed each other with the claws.
You know where we need to go? It's medieval times where you eat with your hands.
Do they have a rice dish, though?
I hope so. I'll request it.
Oh, man. That'll be great.
I'd be like, look, it's kind of our anniversary. Is there a way we can get a side of rice? No fork.
Is medieval times a full bar? Or can you just get beer?
And at our wedding, people will throw cooked rice directly in our mouths because that's how we met.
Medieval times, full bar or is just beer? Because you better get her some vodka because she's not going to you. She's not.
No, it's all purse vodka. Yeah, no, we're not paying for drinks when we go out, bro. We got purse vodka. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure she had Gatorade in there too.
Oh, smart.
So if she's mixing or chasing with Gatorade, she's getting extra f***ed up.
Well, she had to go to work, so she needs some electrolytes, and she was
That's why she needed to hydrate.
How do you think LeBron James shows up every day to work?
I want to know what I should have asked what she did. I'm like, what do you do? What is your job that this is how you pregame for that?
Well, That could be an unfortunate answer.
Yeah, right.
Hooking on the
Airline
street, bro.
pilot. Oh, no.
I was thinking more of hooking on the street. Maybe a little crack before.
Oh.
But, airline pilot. Yeah, that'll work.
I gave her a lot more credit.
Well, shout out to Kelly, John's future girlfriend.
Shout out to Kelly.
Shout out to
Good
Aaron.
luck to you, girl.
Hey, thanks for calling me
Aaron,
back.
you're a real piece of garbage,
Thanks
man.
for calling
Just call
me
me back and be like, hey, my bad. I found it.
Hey, thanks for calling me back. No, you for not calling me back, fucking asshole.
Exactly.
Jesus. People. Manners.
Jackass.
We could hook them up. Aaron and Kelly. They can just dig their own black hole and fucking disappear from eternity.
I'm not sure Kelly was Aaron's type.
We won't get into that.
No, we don't need to.
John, great story.
Yes.
Hopefully there's plenty more to come now that you're dealing with all the bullshit.
How could there not be, man? Like, how could there not be? That was the first night.
It's just opened up. The floodgates are open, man.
Hey, it'd be pretty sweet if the rest of my night, and that's like, nah, that was literally the most exciting night I've ever had. Every other night since has been super lame.
Well, hopefully Kelly comes back around. So big shout out to Kelly.
Yeah, come on, Kelly. She had been in before, so she's at least a semi-regular.
Oh, she'll be back. Could we? Who else we got to shout out to?
I mean, our long lost friends, Deb and Jesse. We've been texting. Just get a little sarcastic about how long we took in between shows.
Oh,
Deb.
We're just giving
Deb with a little sarcasm.
Giving you a little time off. Deb, you're so busy. You got things going on.
Deb.
You're like a full-on professional. Unlike, me, but John, now you're a full-on professional.
Any other shout-outs? I've had random people at my new job. Because I had mentioned the podcast like on my first day because they were like, well, what do you do? Like, what do you do besides work? And so that's always my go-to. And so I've had a couple people like, what is the name of that again? Oh, let me check that out. But no official shout-outs yet.
Got a shout-out to Mr. Mike Feldman. Listen to the Gangs of Disneyland podcast. We were talking about it the other night. People are like, they're like floored that there's gangs at Disneyland. They love it.
I was so surprised. I decided to do a whole episode about it after you mentioned it the first time.
Well,
shout out to Mike Feldman.
John, if there's anything else you need to blow your mind about, just ask me. I'll blow your mind with so much important information.
Yes, you blow my mind, but it's rarely with important information. It's usually with your boorish behavior.
I will say that Jiminy's Snitches the Army is growing. We're getting stronger by the day, so I would be careful. Watch your words, good sir.
I feel like if I had stayed in Anaheim, the 714ers would be very strong. But I feel like it kind of immediately disbanded as soon as I had to leave.
Our leader's gone, SA. It's gone.
I know. I didn't get to be as entrenched as I needed to be to really make it last.
Hey, there's other lives. You got a more important gig. You got to worry about Kelly now. Things are different.
Hey, I got a family now. Kelly, Aaron, we're in this together now.
The box of rice, all of you together.
Uncle Ben's in the house.
All right, John, where can the people find us?
Well, you got to start, you got to end, you got to go to the middle, 86charles.com.
That's 86charles.com.
86charles.com.
And John, if the people want to help us out, say you're going to go buy, I don't know, Sarco on Amazon. What do you?
Yes.
How can you help us out? Give us a little scratch from before you kill yourself with the Sarco.
Well, as we previously mentioned, go to 86charles.com. When you're there, you're going to see a little tab. You click on that little tab. It says Amazon. Do that. Guess what? You're at Amazon now. You're in the jungle. You know what to do when you're there. Do whatever you want to do. Buy your Sarco. Buy your rice.
Ooh.
Buy your kettle. Whatever you need.
I don't think you can buy kettle on Amazon.
Yeah, probably.
I've tried.
But you could buy an actual kettle.
Ooh. And I'm number one.
You could buy one kettle. And technically that would be kettle one.
Brilliant.
And then a little bit of that comes back to us. And that's how we keep this glory afloat. Beautiful, John. People can hit us up at Twitter on
On Twitter and on Instagram.
Twitter.
At Company Blaster.
At Company Blaster.
John, the time has come. I don't think you're going to 86 Kelly because she's now a big part of your life.
No.
So
yeah,
who or what are we going to
68 Kelly. That sounded weird.
Just going to let it ride.
I'm going to 86 training, man. It was a long time. It was a month. But now I'm in it. I'm in the slop now. There's no going back.
You're never going to 86 training, John. There's just always more training in life.
I didn't say 86 learning, bro.
One level to the next, and then what will you be doing?
I don't have that as
then
an
you'll
excuse
be training.
if I'm training.
It's always around.
I can't use it as an excuse anymore.
Kelly!
Kelly, come home! Rice is on the stove. Kettle's in the bag.
The new boy in the neighborhood lives downstairs and it's understood. He's there just to take good care of me, like he's one of the family.